assuming you can hear over the helicopter.
LB James Skalski was talking earlier just about he's never had more fun playing football this season. I mean, for some of those older guys who experienced so much winning and then have a season that's been so much, more adversity. I mean, how have you seen those guys handle this in terms of, appreciating it and still having fun?
Yeah, I think a group of those guys are guys that have played a lot of football. They're very invested, very committed to this program and the process to playing college football. It's a difficult process, very demanding. But as they mature, I think they have even more of an appreciation. They can see the end, and in many ways, although they're ready to move on, I do think that they want to kind of grab a hold of it and slow it down. There's just 2 more opportunities to play here in Death Valley, and so they recognize that, the value, the worth, the fulfillment that they get from competing with these guys every day, the work that they've put in together, the journey that they've been on together, and again, their time, it's been good. It's been nothing but good. Even through the adversity, it's all good. And so just a really good perspective from a group of guys that have had a lot of success here and have put in a lot of work and a lot of sweat equity in the program. So obviously, whatever we do, you want to know that it's worthwhile, on the field, off the field, whatever it is that we do. And again, that you love what you do. So it's not work if you love it. So I think that's kind of the perspective of Jamie and a number of the other guys, whether it's Balin or Nolan, some of those guys that have been around here, for 5 and 6 years.
What role does it play for the defense to have been in that spot, backed up like that, like they were at the end of the game, and how good they've been in that situation in the red zone overall? What role does that play?
What role does it play?
Yeah,
well, again, it gives you a chance to win most games if you can be good in the red zone. And we've been fortunate to be pretty good there. Not every year, but we've been pretty good, by and large. I do think it's you spend a lot of time in your preparation. I think it shows guys are anticipating what's coming. I think most offensive playbooks will shrink dramatically with what they want to do down there. You've got the comfort from a defensive standpoint. You got the comfort of the sidelines and the back of the end zone. They're not throwing 50-yard post routes down there, so you can, how you play things, how you align structurally, all those things affect, because of what part of the field you're in, a very condensed area. But, and again, like I said, you keep people from scoring touchdowns down there, hold them to field goals, create turnovers, stop them on downs, whatever it is. For a stadium, for a locker room, for a unit, I mean, it's pretty. It can either be demoralizing. The flip side of it, it can be really. Obviously, it's a very positive thing, but it can really give you a lot of confidence in everything that you're doing, and validates, the toughness, the discipline, they never say quit attitude that you got to have when your back's against the wall, if you will.
It seems like when you're backed up to the 2-yard line like that, you have to be super energized, but yet keep a certain level of calm.
Yeah, you got to play. You got to play physically tough. You got to play with good fundamentals. You got to really understand how you're defending things, where your help is. The margin for error is dramatically shrunk because of, we always talk a 5-yard gain down there is like a 25-yard gain out in the middle of the field, and so. I think you look at the percentages. Percentages are not in our favor, and to keeping people out of the end zone. So, again, it can. There's a lot to it mentally and structurally, as much as there is. I think that the most important element, though, is belief and attitude and toughness and fight, physicality. The fundamentals will show up under pressure down there for sure.
What are you looking to do, especially in that situation with a quarterback like Cunningham?
Well, I think coming in our game, he had roughly 15 touchdowns rushing, and they threw the ball in the high red zone, but they, against good people, he was the guy holding the ball. And so just looking at them, how they played in Eastern Kentucky is going to be different than how they played us down there in the same area. And, you can't, that quarterback to have longevity for the season can't always be the guy down there against everybody for a 12-game season. So, we looked at him against good people. And, but as much as anything, you really just try to play to they have a lot of different formations and option principles. And, anytime the quarterback is a designed quarterback runner, man, they've got you outnumbered. It's a very difficult thing. So, we wanted to have an option mindset, and but at the same time, how can we gain an extra number? And and then their passing concepts are built in such a way as to attack you. If you're going to be good against the option, you're vulnerable, quote unquote, against the pass. So, try to, have a package that can complement you and protect the stresses of your calls. I don't know if that answers your question, but we want our cake and eat it too, is what that means, if you can do that.
Brent, have you seen much out of UConn so far, and did their struggles, do you think you'll have to do anything just to remind the guys not to pay attention to their struggles?
Yeah, and I would go back to piggyback before answer that too. Just thinking about going into that fourth quarter, we actually had probably our best quarter of the year was that fourth quarter. Limited them to 2 yards rushing. They were 1 out of 8, I believe, on 3rd and 4th downs in the fourth quarter, and so really, again, I think that there's a lot of momentum created even up to those last 4 plays. They made 2 amazing catches, leading up to it. But, man, our guys just never gave in. And so having the experience of being down there a lot this year in those situations, without question, paid off. And if I could compliment our players on one thing that the unit's done, and I'm proud of them in a lot of ways, for a lot of things rather, but I think we had so much to get better at. Like we just do. We're just a long ways from being a complete elite unit right now. We're really solid in a lot of places, but still not a finished product. We still got a number of games left. But I think the best thing that they do is the more pressure situationally there is, the better they respond. And they've responded even in non-pressure situations too all year. But I just think that's the best compliment I can get them. The harder it is, the better they play. And I didn't say they've been on the right side of it every time, but man, they don't flinch, and they show up, and they got the right mindset in those situations, and they're not afraid of them. They look it dead in the eye, and and that's what you want. That's whether you fall short in those situations or not. As long as your guys don't flinch, they got the right kind of tough-mindedness. They attack. They're not on their heels. That's what it's all about. And again, like I said, you do it long enough, you're not going to always be on the right side of it. But our guys have just been amazing that way. And as opposed to a program that's got the second most wins in college football the last 10 plus years. We've been in 6 straight playoffs. A lot of things that aren't going to be the case this year. So I think most of society would have this letdown and feel tremendous disappointment and not be able to respond the way our guys have all year. And like I said, none of us have been perfect. There's always a play or a series or whatnot you'd love to change. That's even when you're doing really, really well. And but our guys have, man, it's only brought our guys closer together and been more intentional about everything, how we work, how we prepare, how we meet, and that's people, that's character really showing through there. So just super proud to be associated with this group of guys, man. They're winners, man. They're about all the right stuff. UConn, so the question was what? Yeah, and I have what?
Seen out of UConn,
yep.
Did their struggles at all this year figure into the message?
I just watch them. They do a lot. They do it well. They haven't scored as many points, but they do. They present you with a lot. They don't just come out and line up in a formation and throw a deep ball and run the inside zone. These guys are going to make us work structurally, whether it's motions, formations, personnel. They've got a lot of nice complements in the run game, RPO, move the pocket, the boot, the sprint, the screens. Got all the trick plays, the throwbacks, the reverses, the reverse passes, the arc and goes, the screen and goes. They got an element of the quarterback run game. They do a lot. They're going to get into two tights and two backs, and they're going to get into empty formation. So, I've seen a team that's gotten better, whether or not the record is indicative of it or not. I've seen a team that's gotten better since they made a change. And they've got a quarterback that guys believe in. They're playing with great effort. They've had a few weeks to get rested up and to get ready for us, almost like a bowl game prep. By the time they play, I believe it'll be close to 3 weeks. And to me, that's a tremendous advantage. So our guys got to be ready for the kitchen sink. And this game again will expose you. I don't care who you're playing. You've got to respect the game, respect the process. And again, if we're gonna have truly a kind of finish that our guys want to have, man, then you got to go earn it through your day-to-day work. Hour to hour, whatever it is that you're spending on getting ready for this next opponent, man. You've got to make it count. And because we got to continue to get better. We're not good enough right now to just expect to roll our hat out there against anybody we play. And so. That would be my message. That will be our message to our guys when we see them, this afternoon. And again, just, to humble themselves and respect this game, respect the process, respect how you got to get ready. And again, we're going to have to work mentally before the ball's ever snapped. They're going to strain you. And again, it's about, the fundamentals and, blocking and tackling and getting off of blocks and making plays on the ball and execution and precision, all those kind of things.
I believe statistically, Trent Simpson had his, I think, in the career game. Obviously with guys like Balin and James leaving next year, do you see kind of a proverbial passing of the torch in that aspect of Trenton kind of stepping up, so to speak?
Yeah, it's not just Trent, but absolutely. Trenton is somebody that obviously he'll be have a lot of experience out of that group coming back as far as starting games and whatnot. So certainly you want to be able to promote that and lean on that, if you will. But there's other guys too that have been preparing and working like Trenton has. They just haven't had as much opportunity. And so the reason I say that with my guard up, it sounds like, is just because I'm counting on a lot of guys, whether it's Levante or it's Keith or it's Kane. It's Barrett Carter's coming, Sergio Allen, Jeremiah Trotter. I mean, we got a really good group of guys that are coming up that have been working every bit as hard. And but Trenton has had another really nice game, and again, like I said after the game, he still has a tremendous ceiling. To me, in his growth and his improvement in knowledge and experience, but the role that he has, he's been doing a really nice job. Been really proud of his progress and how he's, gotten better, since he got here. And like I said, then after the game too, just his third year of, playing linebacker. And so got a tremendous skill set, and he's really, during this season, he's kind of starting to take off. Because he's really bought in. Those guys have imposed their will on him and those other guys. So I'm saying those guys, Jamie and Balin in particular, but the group bringing out the best in one another. But those guys have no. Come here, did you hear me? It's not like, hey, just watch us and then do what we do. It's physically, grabbing and dragging along. And the guys don't have to do that, but they literally do that. They don't have to do it, but because we got guys that are willing to be led, and that's the Trenton is somebody that has the humility that he's willing to be led. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes guys are so full of themselves, too cool for school, that they don't need one of their peers to coach them or pour into them. And that's, you'd like to feel like your culture, nurtures that. And at the end of the day, you got to bring the right kind of people, and we do. They're really good leaders, and but Trenton has the willingness to be led too.
I was wondering about DT Reuben.
Mhm.
The guy just didn't play a lot of football in high school until high school either. He's got a lot of playing time recently. How much has he really gotten out of these games in terms of the experience?
Well, I would say he's gotten a ton out of it, and a lot of it too, just even the practice field, all the countless reps. That line has shrunk rather, dramatically for lots of different reasons, and has taken advantage of it, and has really helped expedite his growth. He's been banged up a lot too, since he's been here, different issues, and missed significant time with a scaphoid wrist injury that was hurt, and then had surgery, and then didn't heal right. And when you're playing D-line, man, you got to strike people, use your hands. So really set him back. But again, he's got a tremendous ceiling, super athletic, very twitchy, can really run and bend. Really, he's figuring it all out. His best football is way in front of him. But he's been hungry. Coach Bates has done a really nice job with him and just trying to get him to play. Continue to improve that foundation of fundamentals and understanding of what we're doing, but I've been proud of him, his growth, and I think through after this year you'll see and through the spring, man, he'll come back on another planet next fall. It would be my expectation for him.
Anything else for Coach V in person before we open the Zoom?
I just have a random question out there. Darien Rencher, his dad said when he first came in, he talked to you and told him, he's better than what his dad had told you about him. I guess, what were your first impressions of Darien?
Yeah, and Coach Ollie too, and Ben Bolware, all three of them. So, of course, your dad, Dad's always going to say great things about you. But two people I got a lot of respect for, Coach Ollis and Ben Bolware. Ben was relentless. So was Coach Ollis, but Ben was relentless. Like, y'all are stupid if you don't, let this guy come. Recruit him, and so I always loved that. Starting in his non-filtered way, and but I recall people. That's a different conversation. When somebody lays their neck on the line for somebody's character and making a locker room better, and those were consistent comments about. This young guy will bring out the best in so many people. Not that he's just a good kid and, he's a talent and things of that nature, but he's a leader and he's got something to him. He's got a light inside of him that you can't just, go to the Dollar General store and buy. Or even, that's not a coach-induced thing. That's God within. That's great parenting. That's coming from a good culture in high school and bringing all those things with you. And then kind of imposing his will on our program in a really humble way. So he's been a wonderful leader for us, and just a great example of hard work and faithfulness. And because that can be sometimes where you doubt yourself, or am I ever going to get my opportunity, or am I being valued? Human beings are pretty simple, just want to be valued. So this is a good place for guys like him to be able to come and really blossom, in my opinion, because I think there's a lot of awareness about young people bringing value to the locker room here and being recognized that way. So super cool, man. He's been amazing. What a blessing he's been for all of us, and neat to see him continue to grow as a young person and really just take off. And Darien's got so much in front of him, just an incredibly bright future. But thankful for all he's invested in Clemson, for sure. We've benefited more than he has, in my opinion.
Brent, I guess I was going to ask, as I coach your dad, how's Tyler feeling? And is he going to be back?
Yeah, a little bit weak, but
Yeah.
it was I think flu, he said, was worse than the COVID
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, he's back. Thanks.
Any questions for Coach V from Zoom? If so, unmute and identify yourself and ask away.
Hey, Coach, this is Chris Rem from AtlantaFalcons.com.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Chris.
How you doing? What do you remember about Grady Jarrett, coaching him, and the impact he had on that defense?
Oh, that's a great question. It's an easy one to answer, but and Clemson's had good defenses. They've had great generational kind of players well before I got here. But to me, he, along with a small group of guys, there's nobody that had more of an impact of the defensive mindset since I've been at Clemson than Grady. And there's other guys like that were total buy-ins. I'd hate to leave somebody out. You know, we got a local guy, Deshaun Williams, that was Grady's partner in crime on that D-line. But Grady, he just changed the defensive huddle. He changed the locker room. His mindset was just different. He's relentless by example. Every rep, every day, every meeting, every play at practice was the most important moment in his life from a football standpoint. And he literally pulled guys along with him. He's incredibly tough, just a great leader, very loud with his play, very loud with his work. But he was a very loud leader too, you know, vocally. And I remember a conversation talking about just with different scouts. I'm like, if you bring this guy will change your locker room from a leadership standpoint and an investment standpoint, consistency standpoint, just a mindset. And but some guys will just be by themselves and do all those great things, but Grady literally pulls people with him and makes people better. He doesn't look the other way if his buddy's cutting corners. And so that just validates what you're trying to do, accomplish, build as a coach. And he just an amazing impact. That to me, he's been the cornerstone for why we've played really good defense for a long time here at Clemson. And just so thankful for Coach Sweeney, Coach Brooks, coaching him, Coach Sweeney believing in him when so many other people didn't. And recognizing that this guy has something special, and it's really cool to see. Again, those same intrinsic values, take over, the Falcons' locker room as well.
Did you ever have like a moment while you were coaching him where he did something or he made a play where you thought, okay, this guy can really be something special?
It was nonstop. I'll just be honest. It's every day in practice, the guy was just relentless. And in 2012, we're just trying to teach our guys how to. We had a lot of youth, but some experience returning, but it's just youth overall, and just teaching our guys how to practice the right way, with more intensity, with practicing to win, practicing to not just win but dominate. And whether it's individual drills, your scout work, you're going good on good, it's pass rush, man, being able to quantify dominating every moment and not being satisfied. Just leaving the field, drag yourself off the field, and then you show up with a, man, that wasn't good enough mindset. And that can be exhausting. That's a very hard thing. It's not human nature. Human nature is to pat yourself on the back. Human nature is put your guard down. Human nature is have a little success and think you're all of that. And but the best of the best, that they're never satisfied. And if he's something, that's who he was. And so it wasn't just it was 4 years of just watching this guy all the way to the last play against Oklahoma when it's 40-0 late in the fourth quarter, and he didn't want to come off. He didn't want the whatever that's called, curtain call, and they all come off. And neither did I. Honestly, he was just just such a passionate and relentless leader. Just there's no way that we have the foundation that we do without Grady Jarrett.
Thank you.
You bet.
Anything else for Coach?
Hey, Brent.
All right.
This is Larry.
Oh, hey, Larry. Sleeping in today, huh, Larry?
I was just curious, the giving up first downs when you have the other offense backed up, and I guess inside the 5, is there a common thread just that y'all have studied or found?
Oh, man. Yeah, just like dumb calls. I say that. And backed up, man, we got to get off the field there. And it's kind of a run blitz. We didn't fit it up right, but just We've done that too often, and that falls squarely on me. I gotta help our guys better in those situations. Sometimes you're playing the statistics, and then sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. What they do, situation backed up, third and extra long, backed up, coming out. We got to still stay aggressive. We're gonna have to score points against these guys. So you got a lot of things going into the game. One week it could be one thing as far as the DNA and what the numbers say, and then another week it could be something else. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I can certainly help them there too.
Is there like a standard, like a percentage standard that you go by? Like, okay, this is really good. Maybe like 95%.
Coming out, I mean, to us, we should win more often than not, and we haven't done that consistently this year. Maybe you go back a week and it's Florida State, man, we come out, smash them on first down, smash them on second down, and then we jump off sides on whatever it was, 3rd and 12. Now it's 3rd and 7, and then we jump off sides again, and next we let them out, and then we stop them again, and then or we have them stop and they scramble around, and the guy works open late, and then we get off the field. Now they're at the 50. We can't get out of our own way. So that last week against Florida State was different than this week coming out on whatever it was, the 5-yard line. I put them in a tougher spot. That's how I look at it. And we should have been off the field. First down, second down, got them to third down. The 3rd and 5 coming out. Is it 3rd and 5 coming off their own? Anyway, 3rd and 6 maybe, and they run it and get out of the flip the field after we had them pinned deep. So I wouldn't say there's a common theme other than we've done it too often, but there are a lot of one week it's this, one week it's that.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brent.
Yep, you bet.